Kratos and Atreus are back, and they're ready to face the end of the world together. Or at least I hope they are. Here's everything you need to know about God of War Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok takes place a few years after the events of God of War 2018. If you haven't played the soft reboot, you might want to cover your ears because I'm going to recap the ending for those that may have forgotten. In the final moments of God of War 2018, Atreus learned that he was part giant and that he has a mysterious role to play in a prophecy where for some reason he's called Loki. In God of War Ragnarok, he's on a hunt for answers. According to Sony, Atreus is desperately curious and quote, like most young people, he wants to understand who he is more than anything. In this case, he wants to understand who he could be. The mystery of Loki's role in the upcoming conflict is something that Atreus cannot let go of. That conflict is the looming threat of Ragnarok, a prophesied battle that will end the world. And Sony continued by saying, quote, Atreus also doesn't want to stand by and do nothing while the conflict consumes the 9 realms. So is the game's subtitle starting to make more sense to you now? Okay, good. As for Kratos, Sony says he is intent on helping to spare Atreus from the bloody lessons he learned from his conflict with the gods. If you've never played the games that came before 2018's release, then let me say this. This man's hands get very dirty. We have a complete God of War timeline available to watch if you need a refresher. For now, back to Ragnarok. In order to find the answers they seek, Kratos and Atreus will journey to each of the 9 realms, facing off against a variety of Norse gods and monsters while exploring stunning mythical landscapes. At the start of Ragnarok, Kratos has both his Leviathan axe and the Blades of Chaos, giving you far more combat options than you had at the start of the previous game. This has also allowed enemy design to be more complex from the get-go, with Sony Santa Monica focusing on providing both more variety and more mini-bosses for you to tackle. Some of Kratos' new combat techniques include the ability to infuse both the Leviathan axe and the Blades of Chaos with enhanced elemental properties depending on the weapon. Ice for the axe, fire for the blades. Doing so activates new weapon signature moves, which will inflict massive damage on enemies. Shields will play a larger role in Ragnarok's combat scheme as well, with new shield types affecting how specific shields can be used in battle. Some, like the Dauntless shield, are lighter but excel at parrying, while others, as the Stonewall shield, are sturdier and more fit for slower combat, absorbing damage and creating a shockwave that knocks enemies down when enough damage is absorbed. Atreus in his behavior in combat has also been updated to better reflect his progression in character. With Atreus being older and much more confident in his offensive abilities, you'll likely see him chaining together lengthy attack combos or initiating enemies before you. His range of magical abilities also seem to give him an edge in combat. During an interview with Game Informer, Ragnarok's lead combat designer, Sheth and spoke about a new enemy type called the Grim, a lizard-like creature that stands on 2 legs. Both designers also said areas will repopulate with new enemies as the game progresses, so backtracking through an area may reveal some new challenges. When it comes to accessibility features, the game's UX designer, Mila Pavlin, explained her team concentrated on 4 key areas: vision, hearing, motor skills, and cognitive understanding. Back in May, Santa Monica Studio promised that God of War Ragnarok would have over 60 accessibility features. New to Ragnarok are captions and subtitle improvements, which include increased minimum text size, as well as extra large text to make them even more readable. Colors are also adjusted, with 7 different colors to choose from. Returning from God of War 2018 are text and icon size options that allow players to adjust the size of UI text as well as make in-game icons larger. There are other features too, like a navigation assist that points the camera in the direction of your compass objective while not in combat, a traversal assist option that can automate things like gap jumping and vaulting, and audio cues that are linked to various on-screen prompts, which go off when you're nearby a particular interactable object. God of War Ragnarok is being developed by Sony's Santa Monica studio with support from 8 other studios. These include PlayStation Studios Creative Arts, Valkyrie Entertainment, Bluepoint Games, Red Hot, Super Alloy, Jetpack Interactive, Super Genius, and Original Force. Each team's contribution to Ragnarok is unknown, though Super Alloy worked on motion capture services for the game. Cory Barlog directed 2018's God of War and takes up the role of creative director on Ragnarok. Eric Williams, who has worked on multiple God of War games, is taking the reins as director this time around. Ragnarok was originally going to launch in 2021, but Kratos actor Christopher Judge suffered an injury in 2019 that reportedly led to a delay to 2022. Alongside Judge, Sonny Soljic, the voice of Atreus, also returned for the sequel. However, don't expect him to sound the same, because just like his character, Sonny has grown up too. Other cast members include Danielle Bassetti as Freya, Ryan Hurst as Thor, Richard Schiff as Odin, and Leia Hayes as Angrboda, just to name a few. God of War Ragnarok will be released for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on November 9th, 2022, with 5 different versions available for purchase. These include 2 standard editions, a digital deluxe edition, a collector's edition, and a Jotner edition. The standard edition for PS4 costs $60, with the option to upgrade to the PS5 version for $10 more. The standard edition for PlayStation 5 also includes the PlayStation 4 edition and costs $70. So no matter how you slice it, getting both versions will cost you $70. The digital deluxe edition costs $80 and includes both versions of the game, Darkdale armor, attire, axe grip, and blade handles, a digital art book from Dark Horse, the official digital soundtrack, and a set of PSN avatars. The collector's edition costs $200 and comes with the digital versions of both the PS4 and PS5 game, a 16-inch replica Mjolnir hammer, a dwarven dice set, 2 veneered twin carvings, an empty steelbook display case, the Knowledge Keeper Shrine, Kratos Risen Snow Armor, Atreus Risen Snow Tunic, and everything else included in the digital deluxe edition. The Jotner edition costs $260 and includes everything in the collector's edition, as well as a 7-inch vinyl, a falcon, bear, and wolf pin set, a cloth map, a legendary Dropnir ring, and a different set of dice. It's also important to note here that both the collector's and Jotner editions are completely sold out at the time of this recording, so happy hunting. And there you have it, everything you need to know about God of War Ragnarok. If you're in the mood for even more Ragnarok content, we currently have God of War lore videos as well as history of and timeline videos on the GameSpot YouTube channel right now. Depending on when you're watching this, our review may or may not be up yet, but make sure you check it out when it is available to see what we thought about the game. You can find me on Twitter at Devontae Chisholm. Thanks for watching.